Hello, students. My name is Megan Rohrer, or the Reverend Dr. Megan Rohrer. Megan's fine. I have had a long history as a chaplain, a pastor, a bishop, policy director, an advocate. And for the purposes of today's class, where we're learning about sexuality and gender, I think what's helpful for you to know is that I identify as a trans person. But in my life, I have had a long journey. When I was born, the very first words said by the doctors were oops, because my heartbeat had told them that I would be male. And when I was born, my private parts told the medical person that I was female. My living and breathing in this world often is defined by the cultures and contexts where I've lived. I lived in South Dakota, where it meant you were a girl because you had long hair and you wore skirts. And it meant that you were a boy because you wore pants and you farmed and you were a wrestler and did sports. I navigated those spaces. I was in orchestra. I played the harp, which is a feminine instrument, but one of the only ones where you got to wear a tie and pants during the concert instead of a skirt. I was on the debate team. I pursued a lot of educational degrees. A lot of my educational work in my life has been trying to figure out how to express the words in my heart and the way that I feel like I'm good with God, my maker, even when the world and the culture seems to have questions, because whatever the popular term or phrase about gender or sexuality is makes a group of people angry or uncomfortable, or think that all of the promises of the sacred that are lovely somehow don't apply to me or people like me. So I've worked a long time crafting stories and writings and speeches and travels. I visited people all around the globe who experience diversity in their gender and their sexuality, ways that geopolitical changes make it possible for people to be out in some places and more internal in others, and some of the ways that having communities that just define themselves differently makes people feel the need to express themselves in different ways. And so there are, in my opinion, no right words to name how you love other people. And hopefully, if you're living life right, it will change throughout your life. The things I read about in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, as a small child right before puberty, are very different than the ways I thought about the world when I began dating, when I identified as a lesbian, when I learned a whole new language about genderqueer and the binary, messy in between spaces, and what life is like when you're married or when you're a parent. And it's not important that you understand everything in my journey, nor is it important that you know everything in your journey. Part of what we're going to talk about in today's course is ways that you can be comfortable enough with yourself that your body, your being, your ways of loving don't cloud your ability to love other people, and uh, how you can open your heart enough so that the ways of being other people embody in their way of being in the world is not a barrier for you. There will be moments when you say the wrong words to people, because no matter how politically correct you become, or academic or studied, words change and evolve as ideas and thinking and being and breathing and hairstyles change. So, this is not a course in learning all the right words and definitions. It's a course in being open, in honoring the ways you have transformed, and being open to the ways that others transform, even if it's beyond your current ability to grasp. So, buckle up. If we were to have gender and sexuality 101, we'd spend most of the time talking just about you, helping you untangle the ways that the world has troubled you. The way people might have called you names when you were younger, the ways that your own body has failed you or disappointed you. We could even spend a whole course talking about how to unravel the spirituality of just being able to look in a mirror and not say a negative thing in your own personal head about what you see. what I'm hoping with this introduction video is that you can take some time, ponder, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are today? Who did you think you were when you were in school? Who did you think you were when you first started dating? Who did you think you were when you fell in love with someone? Who have you thought you were in different decades of your life? And I hope you'll write a little bit about it. I'm not asking you to share private parts about your private parts. I'm asking you to just think about how you have changed in understanding yourself. Because then, as we kind of flip the page and start learning about some of the radically diverse, beautiful ways that the sacred has created people in this world, we're going to take a step away from your own personal journey, even if people you love identify with all of the definitions, and just start to step into a learning space about how other people might be defining themselves. And most importantly, maybe how you can be a person who is demonstrating the love you have for the diversity of the world on the outside of your body. And it's radically important because of how much spiritual abuse people who are on the edges of sexuality and gender have been treated in history, but also in present day when lives and policies and politics ferment. And sometimes the loudest faith people are the angriest. And so you might have to amplify love in a not creepy way so that other people can have a chance to interact with you or engage with your faith community. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And there'll be some reading resources, some reflection moments that you can dip into.